Good morning, our guest, Mr. Manthan Bhatt,
Good
and
morning.
panelists and the attendees. I would like to. I don't know what to say about Manthan because he's one of the students whom I have taught. He's our alumni, and he was one of the brightest students there. And it's good to see him at this platform now. So today it's our turn to listen to him. He had listened to us for 3 years. Now, every one of us already know that alumni are the best resources for any university or colleges or any academic section you want to talk about. Let it be from Gillette to IBM to Harvard University, anywhere. You talk about the President of America, every one of them are serving as an alumni to their institutes. And these faces, you see them today, you may not know where you will find them tomorrow. So we have great love for all our alumni, and even some participants are there from our alumni. I would request them to welcome and listen to Manthan. He'll be sharing about lots of front-end technologies that he is working upon, and it really gives me great pleasure and happiness to be with Manthan at this stage now. So Manthan, I think we should begin the session.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank Oral University and the School of IT for giving me this opportunity for sharing my knowledge on this webinar session. So as of you, all of you know, my name is Manthan Bhatt. I was a student of the Oral University where I have completed my BSc from it. Then I went to Pune for pursuing my master's, and now I am a full stack developer working in the Easy Technologies Private Limited as a associate software engineer. So let's start with our topic on this content. So today I'll talk about the all the front-end technologies that are available for the web and mobile application development. What different frameworks and different frameworks, library, and software development kits available for developing also front end UI section and deploying it on various platforms. So we'll compare those and we'll have a overview and idea of how different uh, technical things that are involved in that framework and what are they offering in terms of technology for developing our front end. So these are the topics that I'm going to cover today in this session. Basic of the front end. We'll go through what is the front end, why it is necessary. We'll have few examples on the baseline technology used for the front end development. Then we'll look at some frameworks and libraries that are trending right now for web development. Then we'll talk about cross-platform development and the software development kit available for cross-platform. So let's first start with the basics. So in the basics, we will talk about the front end. So in simple terms, front end is a website or mobile application which is designed designed with different components where user can interact with it and get the achieve desirable output by using it. It is also referred as a client side. It includes text, color, buttons, images, fonts, everything that basic UI includes. So for this, I'll take an example. Everyone of us will be using Amazon for buying products and stuff. Let's say I want to buy a earphone or headphone for myself. I'll go to the website. I'll search for the product. I'll compare it to different where I can see the search bar, images, the description of the product, uh, the offers that are available for buying. Those things, those highlighting of the product, offers and discounts, those are the UI components which make the whole user experience very great for using it. As as a user, we tend to use great uh, great website and application which have good user interface, which is which provide a good user experience by which we want to use that again and again. So how this whole front end is developed for the web, and what are the underlying technologies that we, we use for that development. So the baseline of the technology is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML is a hypertext markup language. We can take it as a structure for the web page, like the header, footer, different section, navigation bar. Uh, we use HTML to define the whole web page structure. It's like a skeleton of the web. Next is the CSS. So here is the cascading style sheet that it is like it's like clothing. Like what type uh, what type of color that we are going to fill in the headers, footers, and the page to make it more attractive. So user will feel of using it. Next is JavaScript. JavaScript is used in websites. Like when a user interacts with the web page, it will decide how the web page will behave. Like on clicking the button, what will happen? It will submit the form. It will get the list of data. That's all. So for developing the front end for any web application, mobile application, we have to keep in mind some key features. So which is necessary for developing the front UI for making more interactive. So these are the key features: fast, responsive, interactive, scalable. So what does this mean? Your front end for web or mobile application should be very fast. Uh, when I go to any website, let's say Amazon, Flipkart, when I click the URL, it's loaded within milliseconds. So the user can use it very fast and quickly for getting all the. These are the key features for any front end development, that is fast, responsive, interactive, and scalable. So fast means the whole front end of any web or mobile should be fast. But if a user goes to your website, then it should be loaded within milliseconds. So they should be able to perform that task more quickly. Responsive means your front end should work on every platform. Like when I open a website on laptop, the UI component should be set accordingly. If I access it on mobile, then it should uh, set their UI component accordingly by the screen size. Interactive. Interactive means when I go to an website, if I don't know what the particular icon means, what a particular section do, then the by adding a tooltip to it, it will help a user to know that what that particular section do. So it become more interactive for user. That website or application tells that this section do this, so it will help them to know scalable. So how can a front end be scalable? So let's say if I have e-commerce website, then I have all the core functionality in it. Let's say I want to add different payment methods for buying my product. So for that, with front end, we should add different payment gateway by which user can pay. So we'll add different UI element for that. So we don't have to develop it from scratch. So we have to make a reusable component for it. So it will be easy for us to scale anytime to add a new feature. But these key features are not very easy to implement in any application. Like say, sometime in development process, uh, we face some problem like some UI components are working in some browser. Let's say uh, the header section looks fine in Google Chrome, and when we access it in Firefox browser, it looks different. So that should be not the case. Let's say the responsiveness does not work in different mobile OS. Let's say in Android the responsiveness is working, but in when I open it on iOS mobile, the responsiveness is not working at all. So these are the main challenges that are faced during the front end development of any application. So for making the development process easy and to overcome this problem, uh, we have some frameworks and libraries that bring us to the next topic, that front end framework and library. Let's say I'm building an web application, so I can use a simple HTML, CSS, or JavaScript to do it. But I want to build a e-commerce application, web application. So in that there are many different pages, different components where user can see the product listing, they can buy, they can add it to cart, payment, then shipping details, then tracking of the order, all of this stuff, which might be difficult for us to develop using the simple technologies available. So for making this process easy, we have different frameworks and library available for us. So why do we need frameworks and libraries? And what are the advantages of those frameworks and libraries? By using the framework and libraries, we can increase the performance. We achieve reusability in our project, security, scalability, and responsiveness. So for performance, uh, with the use of framework and library, the performance of the application is increased by using different methods for catching the resource and service worker and all, which I'll cover further. Reusability, where by using the OOPS concept, we can define different components that can be used in the different UI parts of the section, and which help us to be more productive while building the front end. Security, like these front-end library are already have features inbuilt for securing the front-end application from the SQL injection like stuff. Scalability. So with reusability, we are able to scale up the application anytime by adding new features in it, as uh, we have components which can be used at anytime, anywhere. We will be the responsiveness is taken care by of the front end library, as they define the screen size and screen resolution. So the UI component will adjust themselves as as they are used on different platforms. So now I'll talk about the standing frameworks and libraries that are used in the web and mobile application development. So here are the top three that I've picked. First is Angular, second is React, and third is Vue. So for understanding all these three different frameworks, we'll compare them. So we'll know more about it, like how they offer different solutions with them. So, so here is the all the comparison for the different frameworks. So Angular is developed by the internal team of the Google. React are developed by the internal team of Facebook, and Vue is developed by the uh, it's developed by the standalone development team. So it's in Vue, it's a collaborative community stuff that different developers uh, uh, contribute in developing of the Vue.js. So let me show you. So here you can see that there is no one-man show. There are bunch of different developers that contribute in the development of the Vue.js framework. So let's come back to Angular. So Angular have inbuilt features. Uh, let's say for any front-end development, uh, the core features we required, like routing, state management, HTTP request, DOM manipulation, and all, which are already pre-built in Angular. There are rarely any features that are not available in Angular, but we can get those uh, external package integrated to Angular, and we can use it. In React, it is not a framework; it is library. It is a minimal UI building library which can be used to design the UI components. Uh, some of some of the developer like the minimal touch, so they use it and only include those features which are useful in their products only. Uh, so Vue Vue is different. It is a simple framework focused on code. Like it is middle in the middle between Angular and React. It has core features, but not all of the features that Angular provides. It only has the main features that we can use for front end development. So let me show you an image that image is smoothly. So so here is a table which shows us that what type of features that are available in the core features available in this framework and library. So UI manipulation available in all three, state management in all three, routing only available in Angular and Vue, but in React you can get it from the external package. Form validation and handling, it is only available in Angular, and HTTP client for accessing the API. It is only available in Angular, but uh, these features can also be included in React, and yes, it just we need to include it from different packages. So so let's talk about the language that are supported in the different frameworks. In Angular, it is HTML and TypeScript. So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. Uh, uh, it has it is same as JavaScript, but it has more features like you can create a class and object and define different types for functions and variables that are used in the class. React uses simple JavaScript and Vue uses HTML and JavaScript. So let us use the syntax that will make it more clear. Let's start with Vue. Okay, so here is a simple example. So for every HTML file, there is a dedicated JS file in Vue.js. So here you will see that we have an array of to-do list where in that we have an object text learn JavaScript. Then we this will this this JavaScript is binded with the HTML file. So we statistically use the Java file for every HTML file, as here JS will dynamically manipulate the DOM element by using the template syntax, which Vue understands and pass the HTML code in the HTML file at the runtime. So there are different template syntax available, which here you can see. We can show the HTML section on the base of conditions. We can populate the HTML code with different variables and arrays in it. So in React, the case is different. We don't have separate HTML and JS files. In fact, we have only single JS file which is responsible for the UI rendering part. In this, so here you can see a function named welcome, which returns the HTML section hello, and here we have defined the prop, which will be passed dynamically when any data is rendered on it. So in this, how the UI is rendered if we are not using the HTML. It has a special feature called JSX, which is used to define at the React side for rendering the UI part. In that, it is one JS file where we can add multiple conditions on which section the UI part of which component will be rendered. So by this, it dynamically uh, fill out all the components on the runtime. So for Angular, So for Angular, uh, it has a TS file dedicated for every HTML file. So here you can see we have one HTML file, TS file, herolist.component.ts. Here we have defined heroes where we will get hero list from live API and will populate the data in that variable. So what Angular do is we have this template syntax where at the HTML side using the variables it will populate all the UI component based on the array, and it will have different sections as a component which make it reusable for a developer. Like let's say I have a hero variable where I need to list out it in this section. So as a template parser, we can use this component in different HTML section also. So which make this reusable. So we don't have to code HTML again and again. Okay. So this was the basics of the front-end frameworks and libraries that are widely used in the market. So let's we'll have time for the question and answer at the end. So let's talk about the learning curve that this framework and libraries that we saw have. So for Angular, we need a complex setup for an application to use the Angular, as it have multiple files and directories which can be set up using this command line interface provided by Angular. Angular have the TypeScript instead of JS. So before starting it with the Angular, you should learn the TypeScript and the basics of TypeScript, which is not that hard, but for the Angular project and the complex structure that they have, so it is necessary for it. For React, it is complex, but not as much as Angular, because they are using only simple JavaScript file for UI rendering and the DOM manipulation part. So instead of handling two different files, we can use only single JavaScript and manage all the front-end section. Vue is comparatively easy for us to get started with the development, as we can include a single script in our project and start the front-end development, and we can carry the whole project on that. So let's talk about the evolution of this framework. So all these frameworks are stable, and we can use it to build any application, complex or simple. These frameworks are actively under development, as they are maintained by Google, Facebook, and the other community that are supported it. In that, those frameworks have regular yearly or 6 months update where they introduce new features or they remove old features that uh, might not be useful or they call them as deprecated, and they add some security patches for making the front end more secure. So if we build any application using this framework, uh, it is very useful as they are in active development and we get active updates as we don't have to take care of it. So we will only integrate it in our the ongoing project and update the folder, and it will be done. So what is cross platform? Why we need it? So let's say uh, I want to develop an e-commerce uh, application for web, Android, and iOS. So do I need to build three different front end for three different platforms, like one project for web, one project for Android, one project for iOS? So it is quite difficult for a developer to maintain three different projects at the same time, add new features in that, and roll out at the same time. So for making it easier, for making the maintenance and scalability for an product and service easier, we have cross platform. So in that, what it does that we have single code base which we can use to deploy the same code on web, Android, and iOS. So you might be thinking that how it is possible. So the frameworks and libraries that we saw are used for uh, developing such cross-platform application, but they are used with software development. So by this, we can have a single code base. Like uh, if we use Angular, so we will have a single code base for web, Android, and iOS, and we can release those code base using the software development kit on different platforms. So I'll tell you about these three different software development kits that are available and they are widely used in the market. First is Ionic, second is React Native, and third is Flutter. In Ionic, this software development kit supports all the three framework and libraries: Angular, React, and JS. You can develop a web application on any of these framework and libraries. And using Ionic, you can build uh, your application for browser, Android, and iOS, any platform. When it goes to React Native, React Native only use the React library for building the web application and deploying it, and Flutter. So here Flutter is different as it does not support Angular, uh, React or Vue. It has its own language Dart, which is similar to structure of React as it only use a single Dart file to build a application, cross-platform application, and deploy on the various platforms. So these three SDKs are very different. So let me tell you how. So let's say if you have noticed that in Android and iOS, the UI, some UI elements are different. Let's say button, header section, back button. In both platforms, they look and feels are different. So for Ionic, they have pre-built-in UI components that we can directly use, and they will adjust themselves on the basis of platform. So we don't have to take care of different platforms as they are managed by Ionic itself. But in React, that is not the case. In that, we have to add some extra condition for platform, and we have to define certain UI rules so that it will look and feel different on different platforms. But in Flutter, uh, in this year, they have finally released the stable version. So it is same as Ionic. They also have the pre-built-in pre-building UI component. They call it widget, and we can use it directly from that. And they they customize themselves and adjust themselves on the basis of platform. So now, if you have any question, you can ask.
Yes, Manthan, we have a few questions.
Yeah.
Uh, which framework is your favorite out of Angular, React, and Vue?
Okay. So right now I'm working on Angular. So uh, my first preference will be Angular because due to this TypeScript. As in TypeScript, you can define, you can use the OOPS concept. So in that, reusability is we can achieve reusability more easily in compare of React and Vue. So I would prefer Angular over React or and Vue.
Uh, Next question is from Heath. Can we integrate Flutter with Python?
Yeah, so Python is a backend language. So Flutter is like a front end where clients communicate, and it is basically for the UI section and rendering and all. Python, you can also integrate it with Python, Node.js. We can use C Sharp. We can use basic PHP frameworks like Laravel encoding and
Next question is any framework that you would recommend for web VR?
Mm, no, sorry. Actually, I have not worked on it, so I can't recommend any for
Uh,
framework for that.
Okay, so next question is from our first year student Radhe. He is asking, can we develop a mobile applications front end separately as we do in web applications? Hello.
Okay. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. So I might be not clear that what is the question, but I'm taking a guess. Like for web application, you have HTML, JS, and CSS. In for mobile application, we have two ways. One is native. We can use the Java and Android Studio for building it, or we can use the cross-platform for building it. So advantage of using cross-platform is that you use the same HTML, JS, and CSS for building the web and the mobile application. So for you, it will be easier to maintain the code base and scale up the application anytime. So yes, we can manage different separate front end for the web and mobile application by doing it responsibly.
Anshu ma'am is asking that what should the current students, like existing students, how they prepare to easily select by the company for internship and jobs?
So currently, React as a React developer, there are many jobs. if you are looking for a front-end developer, you can always go for first preference is React, as React developer are in demand right now. Second, I would recommend for going as a Flutter developer. First, Flutter developer is stable version released in this year only. So more of the giant companies are jumping on it, and as they are more as they uh, give more performance in compared to React and Ion. So yeah.
Same, one more question. Like, can you share some points that our existing students they need to take care before passing out and going to companies, or how they can make their resume strong?
Okay. So if you are looking for a job, there are some basic technical knowledge that you should have before joining. So first, I would recommend you to have a knowledge about Git. This is a version controlling for any project that you will know that you can create different branch for different features development, and you will know how the project code is merged into one, and then we can deploy it on it. Second, I would recommend you to have a basic knowledge of front-end technologies and cross-platform that I already shared. Angular, uh, not in deep, but just a basic that what is Angular, what is the project structure. Just build a simple to-do list application, so it would be easier for you to uh, get a job in it. Then I would recommend you to have a look for the cloud. So in the cloud, you should know the basic idea, like what. Okay. Hello.
One more question. Do you think APIs are making devs lazy?
No, actually, it is pretty helpful that there are some pre-built API available, so it makes the development process more faster for us.
Okay, so I think these are some few questions from our side. Manthan, I'd like to thank you. It's feeling very nice that you are on the other side now. And thank you. You have covered many topics. And on behalf of Oro University, I'd like to thank you for speaking to our students and other participants. We are very grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experience with all of us. Thank you for your contribution, Manthan, and please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation. Surajban sir,
Yes,
hello. Would you like to mention something?
I mean, I'm really loving it. I mean, our students are doing so much good work, and I'm glad, Manthan, looking at you sharing your experiences with current students that we have, and definitely we'd love to have you at the university also whenever we are open.
Sure, sir.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Just one information that when Manthan was there, we were having only BSc IT course, and right now we are having 4 courses from School of IT: BSc IT 3 years, integrated MSc IT 5 years course. We have 2 masters program, MSc IT and MSc specialized in AI. And School of IT is also running some online certification courses from 25th onwards. So you can see the details in the Facebook or University Facebook page. Thank you participants for attending the webinar, and please kindly fill the form so that you can get the certificates, because it will be active only for 2-3 more minutes. Thank you, Manthan. Thank you very much. We'd love to see you in the campus.
Thank you, ma'am.